Hey, welcome back to this mini lecture. My name is Dino. It is on information design defined. The focus of this video is I'm going to explore the context for information design by exploring a variety of different definitions by a variety of different information design specialists. Let's begin. This is according to AIGA. Information design makes complex information easier to understand and use. So this foregrounds the idea of information can be very complex, and that we have a mission when information designing to make it easier to understand and use. Information design is about the clear and effective presentation of information and involves a multi and interdisciplinary approach to communication, combining skills from graphic design, technical and non-technical authoring, psychology, communication theory, and cultural studies. This is by Frank Thyssen. Again, clear and effective presentation of information is really important. This definition foregrounds how complex it is in terms of the number of people or skills you're going to need: graphic design, authoring, psychology, communication theory, and cultural studies. Luigi Canali de Rossi, he writes, information design is all about the psychology and physiology of how users access, learn, and remember information, the impact of colors, shapes, and patterns, learning styles. It's interesting how Canali de Rossi talks about the idea of physiology and how that plays into how we react to information design, and as well some things that sometimes people forget about, issues like colors, shapes, patterns, learning styles. Richard Sahlborman, who's a really big deal in information design. My quote is, quote, "The only way to communicate is to understand what it's like not to understand. It is at that moment you can make something understandable." I think this is a really good thing to remember about, is to, when you're looking at your information design as you're creating them and editing them and designing them, is to think about someone who might not understand it, and then go from that sort of humble posture. Information design addresses the organization, presentation of data, its transformation into valuable, meaningful information. We talk in other videos about how organizing information is quite important and different ways to do that. This really highlights the idea that if done properly and correctly and usefully, it can help make just basic data into something more valuable and meaningful. This is by Nate Shedroff. Robert Horton says, information design is defined as the art and science of preparing information so that it can be used by human beings with efficiency and effectiveness. Information design's primary products appear as documents and as presentations on computer screens. Especially in a business context, the ideas of efficiency and effectiveness are really important. Or those types of jobs or needs that are really like a high intensity where there's a lot of pressure. This definition talks about like how information design has sort of a multiplicity of uses, such as documents, and obviously we spend a lot of time of our times on devices like computer screens and phones. This is one's according to the International Institute for Information Design. Information design is the defining, planning, and shaping of the contents of a message and the environments it is presented in with the intention of achieving particular objectives in relation to the needs of others. Something many people tend to forget is that people can consume information in multiple environments. A lot of times, information design in public settings, like subway maps, are in public settings. Sometimes people use devices like phones where, say, if you're looking at a map in New York City, like the MTA, or you're somewhere big like the London Tube. Similarly, you can see signs in really big places like that, but then also people will get maps of subways on phones, and it's interesting how you get to scale and deal with the challenges of both. Gerlin Schuler writes or states that information design is the transfer of complex data for the most part two-dimensional visual representations that aim at communicating, documenting, and preserving information and knowledge. It deals with making entire sets of facts and their interrelations comprehensible with the objective of creating transparency, eliminating uncertainty. This really highlights the idea that most of the information design that you're sharing is a two-dimensional space, whether it's a computer screen or document as per the last definition. There is some three-dimensional representation, but that's just not quite as big these days. Information designers are very special people who, if I don't say so myself, information designers are very special people who must master all the skills and talents of a designer, combined with the rigor of a problem, with the rigor and problem-solving ability of a scientist or mathematician, and bring the curiosity, research skills, and doggedness of a scholar to their work. This is by Terry Irwin. Ideally, that's the case. I know a lot of times that, especially if things are really complex, you can have these information designs broken up into multiple specialists, because it is difficult to find someone who has design skills. Like problem-solving skills are quite rigorous, as well as research skills. Like they're different skill sets. Like, and ideally, you develop all those things, but it's difficult to master any one of them. It's really difficult to master all of those in totality. Information design, also known as communication design, is a rapidly growing discipline that draws on typography, graphic design, applied linguistics, applied psychology, applied ergonomics, computing, and other fields. It emerges as a response to people's needs to understand and use such things as forms, legal documents, signs, computer interfaces, technical information, and operating/assembly instructions. Again, this talks about the multidisciplinary aspect of information design. Again, typography. That's something we take for granted on a daily basis, how we can read exquisite type and font faces. Graphic design, putting those things together in a way that's both visually interesting in a world that's where you're bombarded with visual stimuli. Linguistics, how do you communicate high-level ideas in compact ways? Psychology, how do you influence attitudes and behaviors? Ergonomics, in case you're working in a space that's more like three-dimensional in that aspect. And how do you incorporate information design, say if you're in a sort of a tight space like a cockpit of a plane, computing in other fields. And then all set programs at the end. The multiplicity, again, of ways that information design is shared: forms, documents, signs, interfaces, technical information, and operating and assembly instructions. So again, it's a really, really complex field of information design. That was Information Design Defined. My name is Dino. Thanks for watching. Please feel free to like this video. Please feel free to comment on it. Did any of those definitions really resonate with you? Did any ones not? Did you take away anything about information design from seeing these multiple definitions and as they were juxtaposed against each other? Finally, please feel free to subscribe to this channel if you'd like this type of content. As always, thanks for watching. Take care.